I'm going to pull this flywheel on this 2010, excuse me, this is a 2007 Yamaha FXHO crankshaft. It's actually an SBT clone MR1 crankshaft from an entire clone MR1 motor. So everything here is produced and manufactured by SBT, probably out of China is where I would imagine. And what I'm going to do is I need a replacement for the FXHO. This component right here is different. I'm not sure about this, but I'm just going to replace as much as I can. So I've got this donor. It's a 2010 VX110 crankshaft. I was able to pull that flywheel off of there. And so I'm just going to show you guys how to do this real quick. Let me pause this. Okay, so the tools that we're going to need, I went to Harbor Freight and picked up this Pittsburgh Tools bolt type wheel puller set. That was about 15 bucks or so. The only parts that I needed out of that set, you're going to need this unit here and this unit here, and that's it. As far as other parts go, got a impact wrench or impact driver, a hammer, a 6mm Allen key, a 14 mil socket, and and then from your coupler housing, I stole a few bolts out of there to use because the ones in this toolkit I couldn't get to work properly. So out of that coupler housing, we got two really longs and one medium, and then a couple shorter ones. Where I'm getting these from is from these various spots around here or here. I can't remember, to be honest, but I believe it is from these smaller holes throughout this area. So borrow those. I'll show you how that gets set up here in a second. You'll need to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, all 6 of these Allen head bolts here. They get stuck to the magnet. So that's what each of these is like. Then you're going to take your 14 and you're going to use your impact or whatever you need to do. Impact works really good when this thing's out of the engine cases entirely. Oh, sorry. This, actually I want to leave turned in. So leave about a 1/4 inch gap. You can see that. Yeah, not too big. You don't want a whole bunch of play there. What it's going to do is this is going to act as something to push against the actual crankshaft. It's sticking in here. So as this tool is doing its job, it's pushing against there while it's pulling through these outside holes. I'll set that up and I'll explain that in a second. I should explain these real quick. I put these sockets, these equal size sockets, I think it's a 12 and a 13 or whatever, on these to kind of simulate the length of this third one here. It ends up taking up the slack for it and it ends up working out pretty well. You'll see in a second. Okay, so what we've done here is take these 3 bolts, run them into some of those holes where the Allen head were, and then you can see this is the short bolt here. So you want to be fairly even in your gap between your magnet and your tool. So that's what these things do, is they take up that extra slack fairly well. Now you're going to take this, you're going to spin this in until the tip rests against the head of your bolt here. Okay, try to do the final focus. There we go. Final run out here. Alright, so we're centered fairly well. That'll be good enough for the purposes of this video. So now we take your 14 mil and we're just going to drive forward clockwise on this and put some pressure to pull this thing apart, and then use a hammer to tap the end of this to finish it off, and it'll disconnect. Alright, so first ratchet attempt. Alright, cranked it down tight. Now, hard to do one-handed, but It does not feel like it freed it up at all. Let's drive it again. See it turning more. I believe we may have just pulled the flywheel off there. Let's back this out. Ah! Almost dropped the crankshaft underground. That would have sucked. Hang on. Okay, what's happening is when this thing is turning with the impact, it's also spinning in this bolt right here, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to try to attach this thing, see if I've got enough gap there to do that. And hopefully that'll prevent this part from spinning that part. So what ended up happening is, without putting that tip on there, it ended up smashing this cheap Chinese metal a little bit. So I'm just going to take a drill and deburr this inside so I can get this head installed in there. So it wasn't quite as much of a pain in the ass on the previous one, but this thing keeps spinning that bolt down there. It's going to be tough to see. There we go. So what I'm just going to do is just throw this 14 open-faced 14 wrench on there. Hold that in place while I drive this, and now that'll stop it from spinning. So I should be able to pop this out in a second. I just won't be able to get it on camera, I don't think. So basically, this is all I'm going to do is just drive this in, and then tap on it with a hammer. It should just pop off. So that's all it was. It was just spinning in. So move your tools. Turning these out without a glove. Pain in my fingers. That tapping on this end with a hammer is what will release this thing inevitably. Let me just see, it's all just loose parts right now. I'm trying to do this without losing my crankshaft onto the floor again, or any of these parts. I don't care necessarily about this crankshaft because this one's going in the recycle bin. Whoops. Take that bolt out. Be the last thing holding this thing on. Yeah. Alright, so there's your flywheel. Start a gear. And that's that. You got your desk key right here. Don't lose your desk key. You may need that. And that's it.